AITA for asking my wife to meet me at the hotel instead of picking her up from the airport? Okay, so I, 34M, need some outside perspective because I'm genuinely confused about whether I messed up here or if my wife, 32F, is overreacting. I feel like I'm in the right, but she's acting like I've committed some cardinal sin, and now I'm second-guessing myself. For context, we've been married for 6 years, together for 9, and we've always been pretty good at communicating. Until this, I guess. Here's the full story, and I'll try to lay it all out as fairly as I can. But fair warning, this might get a bit long because there's a lot of background to cover. So, my wife, let's call her Sarah, and I are currently on a trip to a city we both know really well. We actually lived here for a year back in 2020 to 2021 because of my job at the time. So we're not strangers to the area. It's a big, busy city with a decent public transit system, but it's also kind of a pain to get around without a car sometimes. I work in tech consulting, and my company sent me here a week early for a big client project. I've been staying at an Airbnb in a central location, which has been fine, but it's not exactly luxurious. Just a functional one-bedroom with a tiny kitchen and a couch that smells vaguely of someone else's dog. Sarah wasn't able to come with me right away because she had to wrap up some stuff at her job. She's a graphic designer and had a deadline for a client project. The plan was always for her to fly in later, and then we'd move into a nice hotel together for a bit of a vacation after my work stuff wraps up. Here's where things get tricky. Since I got here, I haven't bothered renting a car. The Airbnb is close to my client's office, and I've been using Uber or Lyft to get around when I need to go somewhere farther out. It's been working fine. No complaints there. The city's airport is about a 30-minute drive from the hotel we're staying at, and it's not exactly a cheap Uber ride, especially with surge pricing, which seems to happen every time I need to go somewhere. When Sarah told me her flight details a few days ago, she's landing tomorrow afternoon, I suggested she just take an Uber from the airport to the hotel where we're meeting up. My reasoning was pretty straightforward. I have to take an Uber to the airport to pick her up, then we'd both have to take another Uber back to the hotel. That's 2 round-trip rides for me, probably $50 to $60 total, when she could just take one ride straight to the hotel for half that. Plus, like I said, she knows this city as well as I do. We lived here, navigated the airport a million times, and she's taken Ubers on her own before. It's not like she's some clueless tourist who's going to get scammed by a shady cab driver. I brought this up over text when she sent me her flight info. I said something like, "Hey, it'd probably be easier if you just Uber to the hotel from the airport. I'll be wrapping up a meeting around then, and it's kind of a hassle to get out there and back." I thought I was being practical, but her response was not great. She sent back a single wow, okay, which if you've been in a relationship, you know is code for "I'm pissed, but I'm not going to say it outright." I try to clarify, like, it's just more convenient, and you know your way around. I'll meet you at the hotel, and we'll check in together. But then she hit me with, "I just thought you'd want to see me after a week apart, but fine, I'll figure it out." Ouch. That stung, because of course I want to see her. I just didn't think it was a big deal to skip the airport run. For some extra context, I should mention that I've been on a ton of business trips over the years, and Sarah has never once come and pick me up at the airport when I get back home. I've always just taken an Uber or a cab, and I've never made a fuss about it. Like, I get it. Airports are a hassle. Parking is a nightmare. And it's not like we're in some rom-com where you have to do the big dramatic reunion at baggage claim. So, I genuinely didn't think she'd care about this. Plus, I had already scheduled a business meeting with my client for around the time her flight lands. It's not like I'm blowing her off to go golfing or something. I'm literally working. I figured she'd be fine taking an Uber, checking into the hotel, and I'd meet her there right after my meeting, maybe an hour or 2 later at most. But now she's acting super cold. After that text exchange, she didn't respond to my next couple of messages, which were just me trying to smooth things over like, "I'm really excited to see you, just trying to make this easier for both of us." When we finally talked on the phone last night, she was short with me and said stuff like, "It's not about the Uber, it's about you not even wanting to come get me." I tried to explain my side again, but she kept circling back to how it made her feel like I didn't care about her arrival. She even brought up how her friends' husbands always pick them up from the airport, and how it's just what you do when you're in a relationship. I pointed out that she's never picked me up, and she got defensive, saying it's different because I'm used to traveling and she's not. Which, by the way, isn't totally true. She travels for work sometimes too, just not as often. I'm starting to feel like I'm missing something here. Like, is there some unwritten rule about airport pickups that I've never heard of? I know Sarah's not helpless. She's navigated this city on her own before, and she's perfectly capable of getting an Uber. But the way she's acting makes me feel like I've done something really selfish or inconsiderate. I tried asking my buddy Mike, who I've been grabbing drinks with here after work, and he was like, "Dude, just go pick her up. It's not worth the fight." But that feels like giving in to something that doesn't even make sense logistically. Plus, now I'm kind of annoyed that she's making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. I mean, we're going to be spending the whole week together at this nice hotel, and I've planned a bunch of fun stuff for us to do. Dinner reservations, a day trip to a nearby beach, the works. Why is this one thing such a sticking point? To give you a bit more about us, Sarah and I have always been pretty practical people. We're not super mushy or overly romantic, at least not in a performative way. Like, we don't do big Valentine's Day gestures or post sappy stuff on social media. We're more about the day-to-day stuff, cooking dinner together, binge-watching shows, that kind of thing. That's why this feels so out of left field to me. She's never been the type to care about grand gestures, so I didn't think skipping the airport pickup would be a big deal. But now I'm wondering if I've been misreading her this whole time. Maybe she's been expecting more of that romantic stuff, and I just haven't picked up on it? I don't know. Another thing that's bugging me is that she hasn't exactly been communicative about what's really upsetting her. Like, if it's not about the Uber itself, then what is it? Is it because I've been gone for a week and she's feeling neglected? I've been texting her every day, calling most nights, and I even sent her a dumb little postcard from the city just to make her smile. I don't think I've been distant or anything. Or maybe it's because I scheduled that meeting during her arrival time. But I told her about the meeting weeks ago when we were planning the trip, and she didn't say anything about it then. I'm starting to feel like I'm being punished for something I didn't even know was an issue. I should also mention that Sarah's been under some stress lately. Her job has been intense with this big client project, and she's been working late nights to get it done before joining me here. I know she's excited about the vacation part of the trip, but maybe she's just fried from work, and that's making her more sensitive. I don't want to dismiss her feelings, but I also don't think I'm being unreasonable. It's not like I'm refusing to see her at all. I'm just trying to avoid an unnecessary trip to the airport when she's perfectly capable of getting to the hotel on her own. At this point, I'm torn. Part of me wants to just cancel my meeting and go pick her up to avoid the drama. But another part of me is frustrated that she's making such a big deal out of this. I feel like I'm being practical, but she's acting like I'm blowing her off. I've been trying to think back to other times we've traveled together to see if I'm missing some pattern. Like, when we lived in the city, we'd sometimes take separate flights for work or to visit family, and we'd always just meet up at home or wherever we were staying. I don't remember ever making a big deal about picking each other up, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong? Or maybe it's different now because we're not living here anymore, and she's expecting me to welcome her to the city or something. I guess what I'm asking is, aita for suggesting she Uber to the hotel instead of me picking her up? I don't think I'm being a jerk, but her reaction is making me question myself. Is this some kind of relationship faux pas I've been oblivious to? Or is she blowing this out of proportion? I'd love to hear what you guys think, because I'm starting to feel like I'm in the doghouse for no good reason. Also, any advice on how to fix this without completely caving and reinforcing what feels like an overreaction would be great. I love Sarah, and I don't want this to ruin the start of our vacation, but I also don't want to set a precedent where I have to jump through hoops for something that seems so minor. Edit. Forgot to mention, I've been on a bunch of business trips, and Sarah's never come to meet me at the airport when I got back, which I've been totally fine with. I thought this meant airport pickups weren't a big deal to her, so I didn't think twice about suggesting she Uber. Also, I'd already scheduled that meeting around her arrival time because it was the only slot my client could do, and I figure it wouldn't be an issue since she's so familiar with the city. Did I totally misread this?